I've been speaking to digital trailblazers about the top competencies and attributes of digital transformation initiative leaders, people I call digital trailblazers. And one that has come up over and over again is design thinking. I'm excited today to have Jennifer Special here as my guest. She's an executive coach, speaker, and design thinking expert. She's led initiatives at Amazon, Indeed, and McKinsey. And she's going to be my special guest today to talk about how design thinking drives culture change. Hi, I'm Isaac Sacolick. I lead Star CIO, a digital transformation leadership and learning company. And I'm excited to have Jennifer Special on here today to talk about how design thinking drives culture change. Jennifer, it's so great to see you here on the Driving Digital Stand Up. We've been talking about doing this for a very long time. You've been a guest on my coffee hour for a long time, and you really sparked in the episode where we talked about design thinking, something that's kind of been important, maybe less important. Now I think, and you think it's really important. Tell everybody why you're so passionate about design thinking and why it's so important today.
I think design thinking is more important than ever. It's such an amazing opportunity to drive innovation. There are so many things that fall into the design process that create a safe environment for making mistakes and correcting those quickly. Um, it creates an environment where there's um, cross collaboration. It reduces risk and creates experimentation. It's everything focused on driving innovation and doing so with the least amount of mistakes. It is also the perfect methodology for solving ill-defined problems, the really complex problems. Design thinking is one of the very best ways to do that. Having open-ended problems and a systematic approach to getting to the bottom of those.
I
It's
really like that answer, Jennifer, because I as a technologist, I often saw design thinking play out when there wasn't design thinking, and you saw just a horrible user experience, too clunky, not solving the problem, too hard to use. And you looked at this and said, who designed this? And you find out a software developer with no design skills,
right.
no user experience, no empathy was doing this, no talking to actual customers,
No focus on
um,
the customer.
no focus on the customer who's using this thing, what problem are they solving for, and what are you trying to do that's making them easier. um, I think that when you look, I really like your answer of saying it's focusing on solving problems that are open-ended, right? And we're not really sure what the solution is. We know we have an opportunity, we have a problem over here. Maybe go deeper. This era of AI, we're getting all this new capability in here. Is design thinking more important or less important because of AI?
I think design thinking is more important because of AI. In fact, AI is the perfect collaborator with designers and furthering the design thinking processes. AI is increasing efficiency, taking away some of those uh, sort of repetitive tasks of a designer. I've talked to chief design officers that are using AI to develop wireframes and increase customization, increase innovation. I'm always saying innovation, but it really fosters all of those things. AI can really be a designer's best friend and all of the people that cross collaborate with designers. It just it's creating opportunities for people to be more strategic, more creative, and again, more focused on the customer or the consumer, whoever the end user is. AI can digest copious amounts of research and look for those patterns and create outputs so that people can really focus on what's interesting.
I think part of it also is that we talk about AI augmenting humans and enabling us to be more productive, and now even using it to do creative things. Um, Rethinking what work is going to look like over the next few years as this technology matures. I come in and I'm working in a call center, or I come in and I'm in a hospital, I'm a nurse, and now I have an AI augmented experience with the technology that I use. I'm a construction worker, and now not only do I have an iPad, but I have, a device where I can speak into it. Everything feels like it's going to change as these AI capabilities get better. And I think it starts with just understanding what people are doing, what work they're trying to solve for, and now they have no tool to use. Do I have that right, or am I missing something?
I think that's exactly right. And I love that you gave so many different industries as examples because it really is affecting every industry, and those that it's not affecting, it should be affecting those. I had an interesting team I worked with at Amazon that was using AI to help facilities workers who were having to use these handheld devices, and the device was not in their native language. And
Hmm.
so that creates safety risks, personal safety risks. It can create errors, basic user errors, putting the wrong things in the wrong boxes, sending the wrong things to the wrong people, all of those kinds of things. And AI has been able to help mitigate some of these challenges that previously would have needed a lot of other people putting their eyes on those things. So I think that embracing AI and recognizing that it does so much more for us. It's not an enemy, it's something to be embraced and collaborated with, and find all of the little nooks and crannies where it can be utilized more to make everything more interesting.
So, Jeff, I got to ask you this question. I walk into organizations, and let's assume that they actually have people doing design in them, right? Because if they don't, then I have some work to do and say, look, you really need somebody with design skills here to help you solve these types of problems. Let's assume they have, some design thinking people, somebody working on user experience, somebody partnering with product managers and doing market research. But there's still a miss in terms of how executives hire these people, where they fit in the organization, what types of problems, when they bring them in.
Mm.
What are some of the issues that you see with how executives work with this function?
I think one of the most common uh, challenges is thinking that design and design thinking is just a box of tools and some basic processes, just kind of a
They're going to
PowerPoint
do the
pres.
Adobe, right? They're the Adobe people.
Exactly. And here's your how-to book. Hello, goodbye, and best of luck.
Yeah.
But it's so much more than that. It's a whole culture. It's a whole uh, it's a whole way of thinking and embracing change, and actualizing on those things. So thinking that it's an overnight thing that you can give to people and walk away. So another big challenge is that leaders uh, kind of underestimate is thinking that it will implement itself, that they can leave the new tools and processes there and people will just pick them up, embrace them, and do them right. But the leaders themselves need to jump in, embrace it, be involved, and then help their teams to understand the processes, make the processes work better, create that whole environment where it's safe to make mistakes. And all of the research is showing that those kinds of environments, a design thinking culture and environment, um, fosters a greater sense of creativity, innovation, and trying new things. And then one of the most painful challenges or mistakes, I'll just say, that leaders can make, we're seeing a lot of in the economy right now, is just reverting back to business as usual. Oh, it doesn't work, or it wasn't really as necessary or as effective as we thought it could be. But you've got to really try something to make it work. You can't just be on a diet for 2 days and say, I'll never lose weight, I'll just stay fat. You have to actually do lots of different things and um, cast the largest net possible to implement all of the things that will make a really solid, well-grounded design thinking organization.
Jennifer, I think it's actually more fundamental to that. I think there's some executives that still look at design as a shared service, right? They're the group who's going to design your UI or your report or your
Right.
brochure or update the style guide, very, transaction, functional oriented. There's a reason why thinking is part of the language there, right?
Mm,
We're changing our way of solving problems. We're changing our way of having a discussion around a customer to really understand what their value is or value prop is, what their problem is, what the opportunity is. We're
that's
looking
right.
at form factors. I mean, all that gets lost if we just label design as a service. And it also gets lost. I think the other thing we've talked about is when design is perceived um, is either a bolt on to innovation or as a separate organizational unit that you
A
work with,
luxury.
or a luxury, even worse, right? Or I'm outsourcing it and somebody else is going to hand me the design.
Right.
So, I work with digital trailblazers. We build, products out. I've got agile teams. I've got technologists doing DevOps. I've got product managers building roadmaps. I've got automation. Um, how do we build just a multifunctional team, that includes design thinking as a core principle?
I think just start. Almost as you said, the basics. Um, just start by hiring your first designer. It doesn't necessarily have to be a design leader, but somebody that's really educated in design and knows the processes and has experience cross collaborating, ideally with software engineers, product, all of the business stakeholders, somebody who will be able to help not only the stakeholders and business leaders, but even others that they have to collaborate with, understand the power of design and what it means to have everything customer centric and kind of working backwards. So starting with the goal and then working backwards to figure out how you get to that goal, I think are the best places to start.
I love that because, I have my product manager who's really going to articulate some of the goals. They understand what the market opportunity is, maybe what customers are looking for. And now you got to work backwards and start saying, what are the form factors that are likely to lead to success? How do we test them, economically? How do we partner with our technologists or other people who are implementing to see, what makes the right structure around it? I love that answer. Jennifer, you and I, we've worked together, we've partnered together, we've been on coffee hours together, we're doing workshops together. It's been a fun ride the last few months. Could you just give everybody a quick update on what you're working on these days?
Well, these days I'm spending a lot of time with my clients providing executive leadership coaching, which is extremely rewarding. I learn from people every day. I can't imagine not working with these people. I'm also doing a lot more with public speaking. I led a class at Syracuse University Design School recently, and just basically trying to do as many things as possible to work with organizations to help them understand the power of design and what a strategic tool and process it can really be and how it can really empower organizations to have more design thinking cultures.
Jennifer, it's been great catching up with you again after a while. I mean, we worked together about a decade ago. Thank you for joining the Driving
Thank
Digital
you.
Stand Up. And we're going to have you back on. We're going to talk more about this over the next few months. So thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Isaac.